The alien marketplace was full of noise, light, and strange smells. Merchants shouted in languages Ryan did not understand. Bright banners of many colors moved in the wind. Strange animals pulled carts with wheels made from glowing crystal everywhere. Ryan looked. He saw alien faces, some curious, some suspicious, and some laughing at him. Humans were rare here. A human soldier like Ryan stood out even more. He was only trying to buy a pack of dried food before heading back to his small, rented room, but then she appeared tall, graceful, and with skin that shimmered like silver under the suns. Her eyes were sharp and golden, and her long hair moved like threads of light. Her clothes were made of black leather with silver markings, showing she was from a warrior caste. Ryan had seen arrogant soldiers before, but this alien woman had something extra. She looked at him as if he was an amusing toy, not a person. She walked up to him without asking. She poked his shoulder with one finger. "You move slow, human," she said in a smooth but mocking tone. Ryan ignored her, turning away to look at a merchant's stall. But she followed. "Poke, you have soft skin," she said loudly so others could hear. Some aliens nearby chuckled. Ryan sighed and took a step away, but she came after him again, her steps light and confident. "Poke, your kind scares easily," she said, smirking. Ryan looked at her, his voice calm. "Lady, I'm not here for trouble." Her smile grew wider. "Not here for trouble? Then why are you shaking?" Ryan wasn't shaking, but she wanted the crowd to think he was. Every time he tried to walk away, she was there, poking his shoulder, his arm, even the side of his neck. The crowd began to notice more laughter, more whispers. Ryan kept his cool. He had been trained to control his temper. But this alien woman, who later he would learn was called Zyra, seemed to know exactly how to push his patience. He stopped at a fruit stall, picking up a round, blue fruit. "Poke," he set the fruit. "Down, Poke." He turned to pay the merchant. "Poke." The crowd's laughter grew louder. "See? The human is too weak to stop me," Zyra said, her voice rising like she was putting on a show. Ryan's jaw tightened. His hands stayed at his sides, but his eyes began to narrow. She was enjoying this. This wasn't random teasing. This was a test, a public test. He didn't know the rules of her people, but he understood challenges when he saw them. She wanted to make him react. And now, after minutes of constant poking, Ryan decided he would. The crowd expected him to shout, maybe push her away. But Ryan took one slow step toward her. The smirk on her face stayed, as if she thought she had already won. "Something to say, human?" she asked, leaning closer, instead of answering. Ryan moved faster than anyone thought he could. He caught her wrist as it came for another poke. Then before she could pull back, he leaned in and bit her hand. Not hard enough to injure, but firm enough that she felt it. Firm enough for everyone to see it. Gasps came from all sides. Some aliens covered their mouths. Others stared with wide eyes. Zyra froze for a moment. Her golden eyes blinked once, then twice. Her smirk returned. But now it was different. Colder, sharper. "You just made a challenge," she whispered. Her voice, low but clear. Ryan let go of her hand, stepping back. "Maybe now you'll stop poking me," he said calmly. But the crowd was no longer laughing. They were murmuring, looking between Zyra and Ryan like something big had just happened. Zyra raised her bitten hand for all to see. "In my culture," she said loudly, "a bite is a mark of dominance." Her golden eyes locked on Ryan's. "You have challenged me, human, and now you must prove yourself." Ryan's brow furrowed. "Prove myself? I just wanted to be left alone." The crowd laughed again. But it was not the same as before. Now it had an edge. Footsteps came from behind, heavy and metallic. 2 alien guards in black armor appeared, their weapons glowing faintly. One of them spoke in a deep voice by the laws of the warrior caste. This human must face the trial of dominance. Ryan shook his head. Look, this is just a misunderstanding. But Zyra stepped closer, her smile returning like a blade unsheathing. Oh, human, she said softly. There are no misunderstandings here, only winners. And losers. The guards grabbed Ryan's arms, pulling him away from the marketplace. The alien crowd followed, whispering and pointing. Zyra walked behind them, still smiling, still watching him like a hunter watches prey. Ryan had no idea what this trial of dominance was, but from the way the crowd's excitement grew, he knew one thing. It wasn't going to be easy, and somehow, he felt this was exactly what Zyra had wanted from the start. The alien guards pulled Ryan through the crowded streets, their armor clinked with every step, their glowing weapons brushing against his arms as if to remind him not to resist. The noise of the marketplace faded behind him, replaced by the deep echo of stone walls. They were taking him uphill toward a massive building that looked like a fortress mixed with a temple. Zyra walked beside him now, not behind. She still had that same confident smirk, her golden eyes watching his every movement. Ryan kept his voice calm. You planned this from the start, didn't you? Her smirk grew. You are quick to understand, human. Maybe you are not as slow as you look. They reached a huge set of black doors, carved with strange runes. 2 more guards pushed them open, and a wave of hot, dry air rushed out inside. The walls were covered with banners showing alien warriors in battle. At the far end stood a raised platform with an older alien sitting on a throne of dark stone. His skin was pale blue, and his eyes glowed faintly. The guards forced Ryan to his knees, but he stayed upright as much as he could. The older alien's voice was deep and heavy. Human, you have bitten a warrior of the HFY caste. Ryan said nothing, watching him carefully. The alien continued, among us, a bite is no small thing. It is a declaration, a claim, a challenge. Ryan frowned. I didn't declare anything. She kept poking me. I told her to stop. She didn't, so I made her stop. Zyra stepped forward, her voice smooth. He bit me in front of witnesses. By our law, he has challenged me for dominance. The challenge must be answered. The older alien nodded slowly. The trial of dominance cannot be refused. Ryan took a slow breath. And what does this trial involve? Zyra's smile returned, sharp as a knife. It will prove which of us is the stronger, the more cunning, the true dominant. Ryan tilted his head. And if I lose? Her voice lowered. Then you will kneel, serve, and obey me in all things. The older alien raised one long finger. Bring them to the arena. The guards pulled Ryan to his feet and led him through another set of doors. The air outside was hotter now, and the sunlight was blinding as Ryan's eyes adjusted. He saw it, a massive arena made of black stone, shaped like a circle, with thousands of aliens in the stands. Their voices rolled like thunder as they saw him. Zyra walked ahead of him, waving to the crowd like she was a celebrity. Ryan walked behind, feeling the eyes of thousands on his back. The guards led them to the center of the arena. A ring of sharp stones marked the fighting area. The crowd roared louder when a deep drum beat began. An announcer's voice boomed from somewhere above. Today, the human stranger has challenged warrior Zyra for dominance. Ryan muttered under his breath. I didn't challenge anyone, but no one was listening. A guard handed Zyra a long staff made of dark metal, its ends tipped with sharp, curved blades. Ryan looked down at his empty hands. What do I get? The guard beside him grinned. Your fists? That is enough. If you are worthy. Zyra spun, her staff easily, the blades flashing in the light. She walked toward him slowly, circling like a predator. "You could still beg for mercy," she said in a low voice. "But then I would own you." Without the fun of breaking you, Ryan gave her a calm smile. "Not my style." The drumbeat grew faster. The crowd began to chant, "Fight, fight, fight." Ryan bent his knees slightly, keeping his eyes on her. He had fought stronger opponents before, but never in front of an alien audience who wanted blood. She made the first move, lunging forward. The staff striking like lightning, Ryan sidestepped, the blade barely missing his ribs. Before he could counter, she poked the staff into his chest, shoving him back. The crowd laughed and cheered at the hit. Ryan steadied his breathing. Reminding himself not to rush, she came at him again, jabbing the staff toward his head. He ducked under it and stepped inside her reach, swinging his fist toward her jaw. She blocked with the staff's handle and twisted away. Her movements were fast and precise, trained over years. Ryan knew he couldn't match her strength, but maybe he didn't need to. He stepped back, letting her think she was forcing him. To retreat, her confidence grew, and she began to taunt him loudly. "Is this all the human can do? Run away." The crowd shouted her words back at him. Ryan let her push him until his back was near the ring of sharp stones. Then, when she lunged for what she thought would be the finishing strike, he caught the staff with both hands, twisting it hard. "Zyra's?" Eyes widened as the staff wrenched from her grip. The crowd gasped. Ryan stepped forward, holding the staff now. He didn't attack, he simply tapped her shoulder with the blade end, just like she had poked him earlier. The message was clear. The announcer's voice rose above the noise. "The human has taken the weapon. The trial continues." Smirk had faded, replaced by something Ryan hadn't seen before: real focus. Maybe even respect, but she wasn't done. She took a slow step forward, her voice low enough only he could hear. "You're better than I thought, human. But this is far from over." The crowd roared again, waiting for the next round. Ryan tightened his grip on the staff. Knowing the fight was only beginning, the arena was alive with sound. Thousands of alien voices rose like a storm. The hot wind carried the smell of dust, sweat, and strange spices. Ryan stood in the center of the ring. Gripping the stolen staff, Zyra stood across from him. Her golden eyes locked on his every move. The announcer's voice boomed again. "The trial of dominance continues. Will the human prove himself, or fall like all before him?" The crowd roared, stomping their feet against the stone benches. Ryan ignored the noise. Focusing on Zyra's stance, she had no weapon now, but her posture was calm. To calm Ryan. Had seen this before: an opponent who looked unarmed but was just waiting for the right moment to strike. She began to circle him slowly, her bare hands loose at her sides. "You think the staff gives you power," she said, her voice carrying even in the noise. Ryan didn't answer, keeping his eyes on her. "You are wrong," she continued. "Power is here." She tapped her chest, and here, she tapped her head. Ryan tightened his grip on the staff. He didn't want to underestimate her. In a sudden blur of movement, she rushed at him. He swung the staff, aiming for her ribs, but she dropped low. Sliding under the swing, her foot hooked his ankle, pulling him off balance. The crowd shouted in surprise as Ryan stumbled. Zyra was already moving, her hands snapping up to grab the staff's middle. With a sharp twist, she yanked it free from his hands. The staff was hers again. She spun it once, twice, the blades flashing in the sunlight. The crowd erupted into cheers. Ryan took a slow step back. Breathing hard, she smirked. "See? You are not ready to lead. Human, maybe," Ryan said, his voice calm, "but I'm still standing." The drumbeat started again. Faster this time, Zyra lunged, the staff moving in a deadly blur. Ryan ducked under the first strike, stepped back from the second, but the third hit his side hard, making him grunt. Pain flared, but he stayed on his feet. The crowd loved the hit. Some shouted for her to finish him. Ryan straightened, keeping his breathing steady. He'd learned long ago that showing pain only made an opponent more aggressive. She swung again, and this time Ryan moved forward instead of back. The blade end missed his head by inches as he stepped inside her range. He grabbed the staff again, forcing it down. For a moment, they were face to face, their eyes locked. He could feel the heat of her breath. "You won't break me," he said quietly. Her smirk widened. "We'll see." She shoved him back with surprising strength. He stumbled, but kept his balance. The crowd was screaming now. Sensing the fight's intensity, even the alien judge on the high platform was leaning forward, watching closely. Ryan took a deep breath and changed his approach. Instead of trying to overpower her, he began to move unpredictably. He feinted left, then darted right, forcing her to adjust. She struck at him, but each time he dodged, her frustration grew. He could see it in her tightening jaw and narrowed eyes. Finally, he saw his chance. She swung high, expecting him to duck. Instead, he stepped in and caught her wrist, twisting hard. The staff slipped from her grip for the second time, but instead of taking it, Ryan shoved it away. Now they were both unarmed. The crowd roared even louder. This was no longer about weapons, it was a contest of pure will. Zira moved first, throwing a sharp punch at his jaw. Ryan blocked, then countered with a hook to her side. She winced but kept fighting, their strikes fast and brutal. Dust rose around them as their boots scraped against the arena floor. The sun beat down on their backs, making sweat sting their eyes. Neither gave ground easily. Ryan could tell she was trained for endurance, but so was he then. In one quick move, he caught her arm and spun her, pinning her back against his chest. His forearm pressed lightly against her neck, not enough to hurt, but enough to show control. The crowd fell silent for a moment. Ryan leaned down and whispered, "This is what dominance feels like." Her breathing was fast, her body tense. Then, slowly, she smiled again, even in defeat. "Not bad for a human," she said quietly. He released her, stepping back. The silence broke into thunderous noise again. The alien judge stood and raised a hand for quiet. "The first phase is complete," he announced. Ryan frowned. "First phase." The judge's voice was calm but heavy. "The trial of dominance has two parts. You have shown strength in the arena. Now you must show strength in survival." The crowd began chanting again. Zyra's smirk returned. "Hope you like the wilds, human. Out there, I might just eat you alive." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "We'll see who eats who." The guards stepped forward, ready to take them to whatever was next. The sun dipped lower, and the shadow of the arena walls stretched long. The fight in the ring was over, but the real trial had only just begun. The arena faded behind them as Ryan and Zyra were led to the edge of the wildlands. The sun was low now, painting the sky in red and orange. Ryan could feel the tension in Zyra's movements. Even though she walked calmly beside him, the guard stopped at the edge of a dense forest, filled with strange, towering trees. The survival phase begins. The alien judge's voice echoed from a floating platform far above. "You must reach the other side before dawn. Only then will the trial of dominance be complete." Ryan glanced at Zyra. "Looks like it's just us now," he said quietly. She tilted her head, golden eyes gleaming in the fading light. "Just us. And everything in these woods that wants to kill us," she replied, a hint of challenge in her voice. Ryan smirked. "I've handled worse." Without warning, she sprinted forward. Disappearing into the shadows, Ryan cursed under his breath, then ran after her. The forest was thick. each step crunching over dry leaves and snapping branches. Strange sounds echoed around them, chirps, growls, and something he couldn't identify. He kept his eyes on Zyra, who seemed to move effortlessly. She leaped over roots, ducked under branches, and never slowed. Ryan pushed himself harder, ignoring the burning in his legs. Then he heard Ita low growl behind him. Something large was moving through the trees, faster than he expected. He swung around, spotting a massive beast with 4 eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. Its claws dug into the ground as it lunged toward him. Ryan rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding its swipe. Zyra didn't even glance at it, running past him as if it weren't there. He realized quickly she wasn't just fast. She knew this forest. The beast snapped its jaws, its eyes locking on Ryan. He had to act, or he'd be shredded in seconds. He grabbed a broken branch. Ready to defend himself, the creature lunged again, and he swung, hitting it across the snout. It growled in pain, but didn't stop. Ryan backed up, looking for a way out. Then Zyra called, "Behind you." Ryan turned, seeing another beast bounding from the shadows. He swung the branch again, narrowly missing its claws. Zyra leaped onto a tree branch above, then kicked down a falling log toward the second beast. It roared, stumbling back. Ryan couldn't help but grin. "Show off," he muttered, running past it. The two of them were now moving deeper into the forest, beasts on their tail. Each step was a fight. Each second could be the last. The forest grew darker as the sun disappeared. Ryan felt sweat stinging his eyes, his chest burning. Zyra slowed slightly. Looking back at him, "Keep moving," she said, voice calm, almost teasing. Ryan was breathing hard, trying to keep up. Then a shadow fell across the path to more beasts, much larger than the first. He froze, thinking, "We're done for." Zyra stepped forward, raising her arms in a strange pattern. The beasts hesitated, tilting their heads. Confused, Ryan didn't understand. "What are you doing?" She smiled. "Watch and learn." Human, a pulse of energy radiated from her body. Invisible at first, then the beasts shrieked, their movements jerky. Confused, they turned and ran in the opposite direction. Ryan blinked, stunned. What was that? Zyra laughed, a sound that was equal parts dangerous and beautiful. "Power comes in many forms. Not just muscle," she said. Walking past him, Ryan followed. Realizing he was learning something new about her, she wasn't just a fighter, she was clever, unpredictable, and deadly. As they moved deeper, the path grew narrow, twisting between massive tree trunks. Suddenly, Ryan tripped over a vine and fell hard. Scraping his arm, Zyra stopped instantly, her eyes scanning for danger. A shadow moved above a predator, dropping from a branch. Teeth bared. Ryan froze, but Zyra was already in motion, catching him and throwing him aside just before the creature landed. It snarled and retreated. Ryan stared at her, panting. "Oh, you won," she smirked. "You owe me more than one if you want to survive this trial." The night was quiet now, except for the distant cries of unknown creatures. Ryan and Zyra moved silently, each alert for movement. He realized that the survival phase wasn't just about fighting, it was about understanding the forest, reading the dangers and trusting instincts. He had relied on strength before, but now he had to learn from her. Zyra glanced at him again. "You're not bad, human. Maybe you can keep up." Ryan smiled. "I'll do more than keep up. I'll survive." The path ahead twisted into darkness, a massive river blocking the way. The survival trial was far from over. Ryan knew dawn would bring more challenges. But for the first time, he felt a strange sense of respect for Zyra. She was no longer just the annoying alien. She was a teacher, a guide, and maybe even an ally. For now, survival meant sticking together. The forest waited, alive and hungry. And Ryan knew that the night was only the beginning of a trial that would test more than just strength, it would test his mind. Courage and heart. Asterisk, the night pressed. Heavily on the forest, shadows twisting between the massive trunks. Ryan's breath came in sharp bursts. His arms scraped and bruised from the chase. Zyra moved ahead like a shadow herself, golden eyes scanning every corner. "The river is ahead," she whispered. "We need to cross, or the trial ends here." Ryan's heart sank as he saw the wide river, black water reflecting nothing. The current looked strong, and the banks were slippery, moss-covered and treacherous. He swallowed hard, feeling fear creep into his bones. "How are we going to get across?" He asked, voice tight. Zyra didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped closer to the edge, peering into the darkness below. "I know a way," she said finally, "but it's dangerous." Ryan clenched his fists. "Danger is my middle name," he muttered, trying to hide his nerves. "Zyra's." Smirk flickered, just slightly, as if amused by his bravado. She led him along the riverbank, moving silently over rocks and roots. Then she stopped suddenly, raising a hand. Ryan froze, ears straining in the quiet forest. Something moved in the shadows, of faint shimmer, almost invisible. Before he could react, the ground beneath them shifted, a hidden trap. Ryan stumbled, but Zyra grabbed his arm, yanking him back just as a pit opened where they had been standing. The pit was deep, filled with spikes that glinted faintly in the moonlight. Ryan's heart pounded. "You saved me again." Zyra didn't smile this time, her expression serious. "Watch carefully, human. This trial isn't about you alone." Ryan nodded, realizing for the first time that this was bigger than just surviving with her. It was a game one designed to test them both, their instincts, their trust, and their wits. Zyra moved along, the edge of the trap, balancing carefully. Ryan followed her, testing every step. The fear of falling, pushing him to focus harder than ever. Suddenly, a branch snapped above them. Ryan looked up, heart in his throat. A creature, larger than any before, dropped from the tree, landing between them, blocking the path. It had 4 arms, eyes glowing red in the darkness, and a roar that shook the ground. Ryan froze, but Zyra didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped forward. Placing herself between Ryan and the beast, the creature lunged, and Zyra moved with incredible speed, twisting, dodging, and striking in ways Ryan didn't understand. Each movement precise, controlled, almost like a dance of power. Ryan watched, in awe, realizing he had underestimated her. Then the impossible happened. Zyra reached out and touched the beast. It froze instantly, its glowing eyes dimming, body rigid. Ryan's mouth fell open. "How did you?" She turned to him, golden eyes serious, control. "You can fight, you can run, but power comes from understanding, not just strength." Ryan nodded, absorbing her words, realizing that he had been relying too much on his own instincts. Zyra led the now docile beast aside, clearing the path. Ryan followed, careful to mimic her movements, staying alert for any hidden dangers. Finally, he reached a narrow bridge made of vines and logs. Stretching across the river, Ryan felt the bridge sway under his weight, fear threatening to freeze him. Zyra held out her hand. "Trust me," she said softly. He took it, and together they stepped onto the bridge, moving slowly, each step testing the strength of the ropes. Halfway across, a vine snapped. Ryan's heart jumped, but Zyra grabbed his arm, holding him steady. They both froze for a moment, holding their breath as the bridge swung dangerously. Ryan realized then that the trial was teaching him something far more important than survival. It was teaching him control, patience, and the courage to trust someone else. As they reached the other side, Ryan glanced back at the forest, dark and silent. Zyra's hand still in his. "We made it," she whispered. But Ryan noticed something strange. Her golden eyes flickered. A hint of unease before he could ask. A deep, echoing voice rang out from the shadows. You have crossed the survival phase, but the trial is far from over. From the darkness emerged a figure tall, armored, and completely alien. Ryan felt a chill run down his spine. Zira tensed. Beside him, her hand tightening on his. The figure raised one hand, pointing at them. The next test will decide not just dominance, but loyalty, courage, and your very fate. Ryan swallowed hard. Looking at Zira, I thought we were done, he said, voice low. She shook her head. This was only the beginning. Suddenly, the ground beneath the stranger rumbled, cracks spreading like veins across the earth. The forest seemed to come alive, the trees twisting, moving, creating new obstacles. Ryan realized with a shock that nothing in this trial was predictable. Everything could change in an instant. He felt fear, excitement, and adrenaline all at once, and he knew that from this moment on, nothing would be the same. The trial had shown him he wasn't just fighting for survival, he was fighting to prove himself, to prove he could stand as an equal in a world far stranger than he had ever imagined. And with Zira beside him, he felt ready for whatever came next. The forest grew darker, the air thick with tension. Ryan and Zira moved cautiously, their footsteps muffled by the fallen leaves. Every shadow seemed alive, twisting with unseen dangers. You feel it too, don't you? Zira whispered, her golden eyes scanning the darkness. Ryan nodded, sweat dripping down his brow. Yeah, something's watching us. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, knocking Ryan off balance. Zira grabbed him just in time, pulling him upright from the shadows. Strange shapes began to emerge, tall, armored figures, silent but threatening. Their eyes glowed faintly, scanning every move Ryan and Zira made. The lead figure stepped forward, raising its hand. A voice, deep and commanding, echoed through the forest. You have done well to reach this stage, but survival is no longer enough. Now you must prove your courage and your loyalty, or the forest will claim you both. Ryan swallowed hard, his heart hammering in his chest. Zira's hand tightened on his arm. We can do this together, she said. He nodded, feeling the weight of her confidence. Together, he repeated, trying to make the words steady in his throat. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted, opening a long trench filled with moving spikes. The armored figures gestured. Cross, if you dare. Ryan froze, staring at the deadly trap. How do we get across? He whispered, panic rising. Zira scanned the trench, eyes narrowing. Step carefully. Follow my lead. She stepped onto a narrow, shifting log that stretched over the spikes. Ryan held his breath, watching as she moved with grace and precision. The log wobbled, threatening to tip, but she didn't falter. Finally, she reached the other side and extended her hand. Come on, Ryan took a deep breath and stepped onto the log. Testing its balance, his heart raced as he inched forward. The spikes below glinting in the faint light. A sudden gust of wind shook the log violently. Ryan nearly fell, but Zira's hand caught him just in time. Don't look down, she whispered. Focus on me. He followed her instructions, keeping his eyes locked on hers. Step by step, they moved together, the log swaying under their weight. Finally, both reached the other side safely, their breaths heavy. Ryan realized he had never felt such relief in his life. No sooner had they stepped onto solid ground, the armored figures vanished into the shadows. A strange voice echoed. Again, you have proven your courage. But now comes the ultimate test. Only one of you will emerge dominant, and the bond you have formed will be tested beyond belief. Ryan looked at Zira, confusion and fear mingling in his chest. What does that mean? He asked, voice shaking. Zyra's eyes glowed softly. It means we must face the challenge alone. One by one, Ryan's stomach dropped. Alone? You mean we fight each other? Zyra nodded, her expression serious. It's the final test. Human, if we want to survive together, we must pass it before Ryan could respond. The forest shifted again, forming a massive arena. Walls of vines and rocks rose around them, enclosing a space filled with obstacles. The ground shook, and creatures bigger, faster, and more dangerous than before emerged. Ryan's eyes widened in disbelief. This is impossible. Zyra placed a hand on his shoulder. Nothing is impossible if you trust yourself and me. Ryan clenched his fists. Trying to calm his racing heart, the creatures charged, and Ryan realized they had no choice but to fight. Zyra moved beside him, her speed and reflexes astonishing. Together, they fought, ducking, dodging, and striking with precision. Hours seemed to pass as the challenge continued. Each moment more dangerous than the last. Ryan's muscles ached, and his mind was exhausted, but he refused to give up. Zyra's encouragement kept him going, her presence a steady anchor in the chaos. Finally, only one creature remained, a massive beast with glowing eyes and razor-sharp claws. Ryan and Zyra exchanged a glance, understanding forming without words. They had to combine their strength, or both would fail. With a deep breath, Ryan charged. Using every skill he had learned, Zyra moved in perfect sync. Striking the beast at the same moment, the beast roared, staggering, then collapsed, defeated. Ryan dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Zyra placed a hand on his shoulder, smiling faintly. We did it. Together, Ryan looked at her, and relief flooding him. You're incredible, he said, voice hoarse. She smiled softly. No, you're incredible too, human. You survived. You trusted. You proved yourself. Suddenly, the arena walls dissolved. The forest returning to its natural state. The armored figures reappeared, bowing slightly. You have passed the deadly challenge. The voice intoned, and the bond you share is stronger than we expected. Ryan and Zyra exchanged a look, both realizing the truth. Their journey had tested them in ways they never imagined. And though the ultimate challenge was over, something deeper had begun, a connection forged. Through danger, trust, and courage, the forest was silent now, the creatures gone. But Ryan knew this was only the beginning of a far greater adventure. And with Zyra by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came next. The forest was quiet now, almost too quiet. Ryan and Zyra stood at the center of the clearing. Their breaths still heavy from the deadly challenge. The sun had vanished behind dark clouds, leaving a silver light that made everything look eerie. Ryan wiped the sweat from his brow, his heart still racing. Zyra's eyes glowed softly, reflecting determination and something else, curiosity. You think it's over? Ryan asked cautiously, his voice low. Zyra tilted her head. No, human. This is just the beginning. The final trial is about to start. Before Ryan could respond, the ground trembled from the shadows. A massive figure emerged, taller than any creature they had faced. Its armor shimmered like liquid metal, and its eyes burned with an intense, alien fire. Ryan stepped back instinctively, hand hovering near his weapon. Zyra placed a hand on his chest, steadying him. Remember what we learned. We fight together. We survive together, the figure spoke, its voice echoing in their minds rather than in the air. Human, alien. You have survived every test, but now only true dominance and trust will decide your fate. One bite will seal your bond or end your journey. Ryan froze, confused and alarmed. A bite? What do you mean? Zyra's golden eyes softened. It's how we mark loyalty and strength among my kind. It's the last test. Human, are you ready? Ryan felt a shiver run down his spine. He had never imagined that a bite could mean so much. He glanced at Zyra, her face calm, but her eyes fierce. This is strange, but I trust you, he said quietly. Zyra nodded, stepping closer, her hand brushing his shoulder. Ryan's heartbeat thundered in his chest, but he knew this was the moment of truth. A moment that would define everything between them. Zyra lowered her head slightly, showing her sharp teeth. Ryan hesitated for just a second, then lifted his chin, meeting her gaze. With a swift, gentle motion, Zyra bit his arm. Not to harm, but to seal the bond. Ryan felt a sudden rush of energy. A strange warmth spreading through him. The forest seemed to shimmer around them. Lights dancing in the air. He gasped, a mixture of shock and awe. It worked, Ryan whispered, his voice trembling. Zyra smiled, a soft, victorious smile. Yes, human. We are bonded now, stronger than any challenge. Stronger than any danger. Suddenly, the metallic figure stepped forward again, bowing slightly. You have passed the final test. Your bond is recognized. Your dominance proven. From this moment, nothing can break the trust you share. You are now equal partners and survivors. Ryan felt a surge of pride, but also something deeper connection. Respect and excitement. Zyra's hand found his, their fingers intertwining naturally. He realized that every poke, every challenge, every moment of tension had led them here. The forest seemed to breathe around them, live and calm. Creatures from before appeared. But they bowed instead of attacking. Even the shadows seemed to respect the new bond. Ryan looked at Zyra. I never thought I'd feel this way about an alien. Zyra chuckled softly, and I never thought a human could match me, challenge me, and make me trust completely. Ryan smiled, a mixture of relief and triumph. I guess we're a team now, he said. Zyra nodded. A team. And something more. Suddenly, the ground shook lightly, revealing a hidden path, glowing faintly. The metallic figure spoke one last time. This path leads to your next adventure. The galaxy is vast, full of challenges and wonders. Few humans have survived what you have. Fewer have bonded with my kind. Go and make your mark. Ryan and Zyra exchanged a look. Excitement and determination shining in their eyes. Together, they stepped onto the glowing path. Leaving the clearing behind, the forest seemed to whisper around them, approving, guiding, protecting. As they walked, Ryan felt the bite on his arm pulse faintly. It reminded him of every moment of fear, courage, and triumph. He looked at Zyra. No matter what comes next, we face it together. Zyra's golden eyes gleamed with warmth. Yes, human, together. Nothing can stop us. The path stretched endlessly ahead, filled with mystery, danger, and promise. Ryan tightened his grip on Zyra's hand, feeling stronger, braver, alive. The galaxy awaited. But they had already proven themselves, and somewhere, deep in his heart, Ryan knew that no alien, no challenge, no force could ever separate them again. The sun, or what passed for it on this alien world, rose faintly. Its light shimmered across their faces. Highlighting their unity, Ryan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their journey and the thrill of what was to come. Zyra leaned slightly closer, whispering, ready for the next adventure. Ryan nodded, determination in his eyes more than ever. Together, human and alien, they stepped into the unknown, bound by courage, trust, and the bite that proved their ultimate bond, and the galaxy would never be the same.